ladies. We're having a little impromptu live video today. I just want to show you what I've done with this new Spellbinders die. This is called the Painted Daisy and Ladybugs. So there is a little tiny ladybug in this picture. I didn't use it for this card, and you'll see why. I kind of kept it simple. So there are several videos online that you can see how to color these, to do these colors, or to manipulate your colors any way you want, pinks, blues, whatever. And like I always like with the Spellbinders dies, is I have, they put a number on their dies to let you know how many of each die to cut out. So this one was 2 of them, and this one was 2. This is 3. I actually only used 2. This one says 3. I actually used 2. Those are the leaves, so it's going to depend on what you want to put behind your flowers, of course. The other thing that I want to show you, and this is what I'm doing, a combination card of these 2 new products from Spellbinders. So this is the 3D embossing folder. Now it is extra big. This is the Wildly Beautiful 3D embossing folder. And sorry, what I like about it is, I don't know if you can see, maybe the picture will show you better. So with this one here, you've got this flower down here, a little flower up here. You've also got this kind of a trellis or just a nice background, and you've got these other flowers here. You can place your paper so that you just get this on one edge and use that. It's like a 3-for-1 kind of folder. It is bigger than a 5x7 card for sure. But you can use, like I said, you can use this part here, just put a piece of paper in, trim it down. I also did one of these with yellow cardstock, and I did it twice so that I can fussy cut the flower and pop that flower on. So there's several things that you can do with this embossing folder. So what I want to do is I'm going to show you, first of all, how this is a 5x7. So I did one, and I did it in 4 different colors, and I'm going to show that to you now. So this is what I did. I used 4 different shades of greens. You can use 1 if you want, and then if you want it darker, just go a little heavier with your brush and your ink. Start off paler and then work your way down. Or I used 4, you can use 3. And in this case here today, I'm going to use 2. And I will go into detail more with what I did with the flower and the leaves in a bit. We'll get to that. All right, so I'm going to show you how simple this is to work this. So I started, this has made me realize I need more ink pads because I have 2 and they're not even the same. This one's a Distress Ranger, and this one's Simon Hurley. So for now, I'm working with what I have, just as you probably would yourself, right? So I'm just, now if you start off on the edges and work your way in, what is nice is it's actually shading your edges at the same time, which Heather likes, right?
That's right.
And so you just do as little or more shading that you wish. So I'm going just a little bit lighter at the top and a little heavier in the middle. So you see how it's starting to take shape with the coloring and how pretty that is starting to look. Now the Simon Hurley one is a little darker, so that I'm going to say for the bottom. And when you change, try to kind of blend your colors together. You don't want a very contrast line going across the middle of your card. So I'm going to use a smaller brush because I just have a smaller area to do. But your brushes, again, everybody's got their own preference. The other thing that I've learned too is when you're putting on a color, come in from outside. If you go right onto it like that, you will get a dab. And you don't really want a dab.
Go to bed now.
And Scruff is in trouble. and Scruff is thrown out of the room. So I'm just coloring in like this. I will lift it up and show you, ladies, what we have accomplished. I'm going to turn this around and make it a little easier to work, actually. I don't know if any ladies have joined us, but that's okay.
Yeah, we've got Cheryl and Linda and Gay.
Well, hello, ladies. This is kind of an impromptu, and you have to catch me that way or else I stew over it for days.
She likes a quickie.
Excuse me?
That's what she said.
That's what she said. So you can see how, like, if you have better colors than I have, it would probably work.
Do you want some colors?
No, I'm doing actually pretty good. I like the way it's going. I'm just going to go up here and just do a little bit more shading. You can do one color, you know, like I said. All right, so this is really going to be a quick video because I had so much stuff ready to go for you ladies, all right? So I did mine at home. Now, what you want to do after you've done this is when you want to emboss it. So I took my 5x7 and I put it in here, and I want, depending on what you could see, it's so much bigger. The embossing folder is so big, but what I wanted to do was get the end of this flower here and this flower. So I had placed my paper in there, and I wanted these leaves at the bottom. I will show you in a minute as soon as I've placed it. And try to get it straight because you've got a design on this side that is straight. You certainly want to keep that line going as well, okay? So that's the kind, and I'm going to show you what it turns out like when you've got it run through the embosser. See, I went right to the edge of this flower here, and look at how much you have left over that you can do too. Yes, I've cut these flowers off, but your focal point is this one, all right? If you want to bring this up a little bit so that you use the embossing folder to that so you have more of this flower, that's up to you. But this was my focal point today. So that is the lowest that I'm going to go on to, all right? So, not sure what you think of that, but Heather's getting all the messages.
Heather's under the table.
Heather's under the table right now, and I won't tell you what she's doing, but stop tickling my feet.
Trying to find my dies.
So, then I've cut out the flowers, and I have started to color them. So, this is what this, where's my flower die? Here it is. So they've got these, there's little grooves in here that give some texture and some different angles on your petals. So depending on your thickness, you may or may not see it. When I'm doing a flower like this and I'm coloring it, I don't want to use a textured cardstock. I'm using a smooth, because your texture, when you color it or when you use your inks, you can get spotted color on it, okay? So this is what I was using. So I'm going to show you what I did with this. I started off with a light color. Always start off with the light and then you can darken it, okay? So I'm going to use this brush here that I use on the lighter color. I think I used this one. You know what? I don't remember, so I'm not going to take a chance. I'm going to do this. So when you do something, you see these are I'm going to show this. These are very thin points of the die. So you want to protect them from bending or tearing. So start by holding that there and just going around and around until you get the color or shade that you like. All right. It is so fun. See the way that one's wiggling? Yeah, hold that one down.
Wiggle, wiggle.
No wiggling here. And then Heather is out from under the table.
She's back in the building.
So you'll see on my other flower, I started with, this is a textured one I did, but I didn't do as much shading. But, and that, again, it's a preference, right? So you can see how I've done all light all around it, right in the center and around the inside of the petals. All right, so You ladies enjoying the sunshine? It's cold out there.
Tomorrow. Oh, there was lighting. Back under the table.
What are you doing? Back under the table.
Back under the table. Very annoyed I can't help
Okay, so we're just going to, and I want to shade the center of this. Now I got a couple of little bends in there, but this particular flower will be covered with the not the stamens. What do you call the inside of that flower? What are they called?
Centers.
Okay, centers. Heather's very technical.
You know me and flowers.
Okay, so then with a smaller brush, I'm gonna take the darker color, darker ink, and I'm just going to just shade as much as I would like, just to give it depth, okay? See how that's coming alive?
I'm alive.
You ladies can see. I'm going to hold it up. I have to work down here with it. And then when you get towards the end, you're just going to step back a bit and take a look and see what needs to be touched up. And the center is always a little bit darker too. And I'm just going to fill in with the dark where some of it's too light for my liking. How are we doing?
Good. How are you doing?
I'm good. All right, I think I can say that I'm pretty happy with this one. And I picked these teal colors, but it would be awesome with pinks and different shades
Purples.
of purples, lilac, and or gold and yellows. All right. So, how do you shape your flower? You say. That's what I heard. So I have a very. Oh, I'm going to show you how it is shaded there. Okay. And I shape it by, I have a very pointy tweezers. You can use tweezers if you have a very thin dowel. You can buy those pretty much anywhere. The dollar store even has some. Anything that's tiny. And what you want to do is you're putting this down the center of the leaf and you're curling that leaf up. Be careful you don't want, your thumb is probably stronger than your other fingers. So you want to make sure that you're doing those about equal. All right, so because I bent that one, I want to make sure that my end of my tweezers is holding that safe.
Oh my gosh, he's nuts. He is nuts out there.
I don't want it bent or even torn off after all this work. But they're pretty simple to put together. How's it? Anybody talking to me?
Purples would be gorgeous, Linda says.
Wouldn't it?
Carolyn said that looked like an eyeshadow brush. Those are brushes that we sold in the store.
And yeah, these ones are.
And we do have stock of the bigger ones in sets again. So if you're needing some, they're a good price.
All right. So that is and I'm going to show you what I did before we started this. So I've got all of these done. All right. So what you do, you start to build this flower. So they're supposed to be lifelike. So you don't always have petals in exactly the same spot. So when you put this one down, these are the two big ones that you had to cut out. So try to straddle them to cover as much as the cover in the background, so you have the whole flower as you can. And you can see they're not the same, right? Especially because they're the same die. They're not going to, you have to kind of manipulate it so that, my glue's not going to work for me.
Don't mind?
No, I'm going to get it to work. I have.
You have the power?
I'm headstrong with it. There we go. Okay, so put some glue on the back. Don't be afraid to really smush it around, and that's the legal word.
Smush.
Smush. So that goes on this one. Oh, that was the small one I used. Okay, let's do this one. I'm going to do it like this. And I'm going to replace this again. Now your smaller petals will cover the rest of the gaps, but I just want to see where I want to put that one. I'm going to put that one right about there, and with glue at least you have the opportunity to move it around a bit. Like that. And then I'm going to put this one down. You know what? I think I like this one next. This one's a little bit, oops, back. This one's just a little bit paler, so let's just do that there. And then this one will go right about there. Look at how full this flower is. And we're just going to manipulate some of these a little bit. Just move this over a bit. Squeeze that down, and then this one, and that one. So if you don't like it as flat as that, start to pull some of these up. You can, these leaves are, petals rather, are quite big. Doesn't look like I had curved this one. So let me curve it. There we go. So you can see, you can just bring this up a little bit. When you do, keep your thumb in the center. All right. And that's the blue one. So these little pieces here, so you see you cut out a whole bunch of them, and when you go to do these, I used a white cardstock plain. When you ink, and it's best to ink them, how would I say this? Ink your cardstock first. So I'm just going to grab a piece here. I'm just going to show you. I'm not going to put any color on it. But ink this first and make sure that you've got and the reason is this is what your piece is going to look like. See that little piece? So you want to ink both sides of your cardstock, because if you have to start flipping these little flippets up and down, inside out, you're going to get frustrated. So it's much easier to ink an area, flip it around, find the same area, and ink it, and then run it through your die cutting machine. So I'm going to show you also what you do. I have these tools that I got from, this one's a Fiskars, but Sizzix had come out with a flower sculpting kit. I don't think they have them anymore, but anything tiny, because these are, when you get them, they're flat when you die cut them out. So I'm going to show you. I've got a gazillion of them here. These are, let me take a sip. Wine is great at any time of the day.
Pinot Grigio.
Pinot Grigio. So these are quite flat. What I did is you need them shaped a little bit like that. You see, I don't know if you can see it, but it's got a little curve up. So I took this and I just poked them down, and I'm going to show you what I do with this one. I used, believe it or not, I used my mat for the, what do you call your mouse pad. I used a mouse pad because it wasn't very thick. You don't want something that's going to poke a hole in it, because that's going to defeat the purpose.
You could use the mat out of your Misty if you have a Misty.
Yeah, anything soft. So you just do those little push those down like that, and I don't have a mat with me. So I'm going to, Heather's going to give me that. There we go. Perfect. Thank you. All right, so then you take these and you throw them, and this is where I tell you, make sure that they're colored on both sides, then you don't have a right side and a wrong side. You don't want white to be showing. So I just took the smaller point, and look at these are so quick when you do that. Put a whole bunch down and push. They're done. So I got a whole bunch of them. I only ran this die. I ran this through twice, as I did on this card. You can add more to make it more round. I found that it was enough for me. All right, so I'm going to show you how to put that into your flower now.
Go to bed.
So I take out my Q-tips again, and I'm using, I don't know if you see these little trays that Heather has in the store. Now, they are awesome. They come in a set of 2 or 3 depending on what you're getting, or which one you pick. All right, so I've got my leaves. My leaves I did in the dark teal as well. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to put a whole bunch of glue down here. I'm going to start in the middle, kind of spread it around with the nozzle. You don't need a lot of glue on these little babies, but you do need to make sure that everything's covered. And and then you just kind of drop them in like this. You're going to try to overlap them.
Oops.
I think I'm going to need this because I'm getting glue on this, and I've also got the shakes because I do a live. Of course, relax. All right, can you see it coming together, girls? All right, I'm going to move this over here because I've got more of them standing up where I can grab them. Okay, I'm going to show you what exactly I'm doing there. Okay, so we just drop them in. They do look a little bit time consuming, but they are really part of the flower, and that one's going to give me trouble. All right, you're gone. The other thing that you can do, if you've got any seed beads, they work just as well. I did one with the seed beads. You can do different colors.
I have beads.
Yeah, I know you do. And if you're going to do seed beads, do it in stages, okay? So put in your glue and then dump a bunch off.
Linda said it's
onto the
only
flower.
us. Relax.
I know, but you know
You know
how it is.
I know I got a glue bottle that's jammed. It won't open.
Do you want my needle?
I got a needle. Okay, it still won't do.
Now, if you have one, and I should have brought mine, if you have one of those jewel pickers, they would probably work great on these little pieces.
There.
Well, just throw it at me, why don't you? I don't know what this is. Yeah, see? I see that I have some of these little centers. I didn't curl quite as much as the others, but I've pretty much got all of my glue covered, and I'm going to add a bit more, maybe. There we go. So I'm going to add just a bit more glue in some of these bare spots. And you know, this particular one, I may have needed 3 of the centers cut. And if some of them don't land where I want them, that's all right, because you're not going to notice with as many as you're putting down. And we're just going to cut, whoops, you go down there, and you go down there. And even these, some of them are a little bit darker teal than others, but it gives that dimension, right? So it gives it a little bit more realistic look. I like the way these are coming out. And I'm going to put this together to show you what I did. You know what, I'm going to add, I got a few more. I'm going to add a little bit more glue, I think, to this area. Turn that right side up. Right there. I kind of like the way this is going.
Sisterly love, yes.
we are going to put the what is the thing for the store where, what do you call it?
The link.
The link. We're going to add the link on. I'm not sure how many of these are left in stock, but if you order it,
Put it on your wish list.
On your wish list.
It'll be in the next order.
You know it'll be coming in. And I just think that this, ooh, that stuck to me. I think that this embossing folder, like I said, there's a lot to it. There just seems to be, of course, I don't know what size that is. Do you know what size this one is, Heather?
Oh
Looks about 9.
Yeah.
All right, so I'm going to add just a piece there. And I think that I like that one. So, what do you think, girls? Isn't that beautiful? And it really doesn't take that. I know I did some of the petals ahead of time, but it really doesn't take that long to put together. All right. So what I'm going to do is, this is all set to go, and this one's on a card already. So you just, and I wouldn't pop this because your flower is dimensional, okay? I wouldn't pop this piece. So I'm going to build this card, and then I can just glue it right onto a 5x7 base. So I think I'm going to put this right about there, like I did with this. I'm going to bring this one down too and show what I did. Maybe up a little bit more. So I'm going to put that in there. I don't want to lose this flower. I just think it's so pretty. In fact, you know what would be cool? Is if you took some more of these, cut out some more of them, and just put them in the center of this flower. That might be an idea. All right, so that's in place. And I'm just going to make sure that it's stuck down without tearing it all apart. There we go. And so I cut 4 leaves, and I inked them with the darker of the teal. And I'm just going to add glue to the end that's going to be stuck under the flower. So I think I'll just lift some leaves here and put this just under there. There we go. When you put a leaf under, or even a petal, you don't want to, I don't anyway, want to see the end of this. That's got to be hidden. To me, I think it should be hidden. And I'm just going to put, I think, one there. Oops. Down here a bit. I got glue on my fingers, so it's not going to stick for me. Or so it thinks. There we go. And I think I will put maybe one about there, I think. I could put that one down about there. And even with these flowers or leaves, if you want to give them a little bit of shape, you can bring them up like that. You know, just do a little bit of shape on them. Use your fingers. And then I'm just going to tuck this one in, I think, over here. And I will lift that side up. And tuck that in. And push that down. And I just want to lift this leaf, this petal. There we go. And there you have it. How gorgeous is that, eh? And you can always add a sentiment on the bottom over here. So what do you think, ladies? And there's the other one.
Linda said it should be hidden. I'm not sure what that comment's from.
All right. So thank you for joining us today. And, you know, the link will be put in this video at the bottom. when we get a chance, and hopefully you'll be inspired to do some of the flowers and use one of these beautiful 3D folders, embossing folders. All right. So thank you so much, ladies. Oh, and by the way, I think it would also look beautiful white on white as like a wedding card too.
Mm-hmm.
All right. All right, ladies, thank you for joining me. And Heather. And she's now out from under the table.
I am. One more time.
All right. Thank you, ladies. Bye now.
There was 11 at the end there.
Oops, where
Which
is
is
my...
good.